Welcome back to the Martial Arts Mindset Podcast. My name is Rachel Rose, and today we are joined by a fighter who's quickly making his mark in the boxing world. Known for his discipline, precision, and relentless work ethic, he's a name you're going to be hearing a lot more in the months ahead. A true student of the sport with a heart of a warrior and the mindset of a champion. With a record sitting at 18-0, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Joe Hayden to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. That were a lovely introduction. That, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
No, I'm really good, thanks. Yeah, all good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, really, really good. Thank you. Enjoying the sunshine. Is it sunny where you are?
Yeah, it is. It's red hot to be fair. Even hotter towards the end of the week. So no, it is. It's nice to finally get some sunlight.
Oh, I know. Like we actually get a summer. I mean, I'm hoping we're going to get a summer for the whole of the summer and not just like for a week.
Yeah, literally. Like when the weather's like this, usually a thunderstorm around the corner, isn't it? But no, fingers crossed. It's like this. I love training when it's sunny outside, and yeah, it just makes everything a lot better, doesn't it?
I'm the same. I think a lot of people I find like moan about the heat, but I love it when it's like when you walk into the gym and you're already sweating. Like I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I love training in the sun, especially because we box outside anyway. Obviously, on the patio, we're outside training, so that's always better when it's raining, when it's sunny, sorry, rather than when it's raining. But we runs as well. I don't mind running in the sun. To be fair, yeah, every time I go abroad, I like to take my running trainers and get out in sun and to actively getting a suntan, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So obviously you are now, I think is I lose track of time so fast with boxing that I always think people had fought like 8 weeks ago and it was like a week ago. Your last fight was now 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I want to agree and say yeah. I'm the same. It feels like forever ago, but then at the same time, it only feels like last week. I think
Yeah.
it is about 3 weeks
It's
though.
about 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So how are you off the
Yeah,
back of that? That was obviously one of the your first eight rounder and one of the toughest sort of fights you've had so far, and you did a great job. So how are you feeling in the aftermath?
I feel good. I think I take a lot from that fight. I talk about it with Dave. It's hard to explain, but after each fight, you always just feel that little bit better. And after this fight, I feel like I've come on a lot from it. And the sessions since, I feel like me boxing and me sharpness and stuff has gone to another level. I'm just straight back in the gym, and I'm looking forward to just getting back to it now. I just wanna get in there and fight again.
From what I've gathered through like interviews and just kind of seeing how Dave talks about you and actually how you speak as well, it feels like your journey has been like a really steady, sort of specifically planned to help you grow in a way that you don't rush the process, that you get these like really important foundational stepping stones. Would you say that's a fair observation?
Yeah, definitely. Because I had the obviously with the lack of experience in the amateurs, I only had 5 amateur fights, which is next to nothing. Um, so when we turned pro, the the plan was to move slowly and obviously get the experience in the pro rank, sort of learning on the job really. Um, so yeah, Dave's managed my career to a T. I'd say I think he's managed it perfectly so far. Um, his plan was for me to have 18 fights in 3 years, and obviously I had my 18th fight 3 weeks ago, and it's 3 years this July I've been a pro, so it has literally gone perfectly exactly how we planned it. So no, I think the step up come at the right time. Obviously, I've got the experience under my belt now. I've had 17 fights before that, getting the rounds in, gaining the experience, fighting all over the country, fighting all these different journeymen, different styles, different sizes, and yeah, I think the step up, the eight rounder, come at the right time. I felt ready for it, and yeah, looking forward to stepping up again now.
How did that relationship with Dave come about? Like, how did you guys find each other and how did that all evolve?
It was through my little brother, really, mainly. I've met Dave a couple of times before. I used to spar Danny Morello. Dave used to train, but we never really. That was it. Really, it was just sparring. He was just Danny's coach, and obviously I'd spar Danny. But then during lockdown, my little brother went and did a bit of body sparring, a bit of training with Danny down Dave's. But I couldn't make that one. I was working, so the day after he asked me if I wanted to come down with him. Went down with my little brother, and I've been there every day since. Really, I don't think I've missed a session since that day.
That's really cool. That's a nice way in and a nice sort of Very organic relationship. I think those are the kind of the best ones that work that way. Let's go. Let's go back. You said you obviously have had five amateur fights. Like, what was it that pulled you in towards boxing in the first place?
I don't know what it was really. I had a skills bout when I was 12 years old, I think I was. So I'd been training for about a year before that boxing. I had a skills bout. I don't know really what happened. I ain't got much memory of that time, but for one reason or another, I stopped with the boxing and went and played football. So I played football pretty much all my life. But in the off season, I'd go to the boxing gym to keep fit, and I'd always do pads, bags. I'd spar as well, and they were always asking me to card up, but I would never want to get carded up because I was committed to football. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to have two commitments, so I stuck with football. And then I had a bit of an injury, and then packed in with football. But because I'm a keep busy person, I want to be active. I thought I'd go back down to boxing gym, keep fit, and then I went down with the intentions of just getting back in shape and keeping fit. And one thing led to another, and I got started really enjoying it. Got carded up, and yeah, I had a bout at my old amateur club. But then lockdown hit, um, and then that's when I started training with Dave, and the rest is history really with Dave.
What made you move away from the amateurs and go pro so quickly?
So I didn't even have a full season in the amateurs. I think I'd only been amateur for around 6 months or so. I'd had the four fights with Dave in that time, and then I went a couple months without a fight. Fights kept falling through for one reason or another, and then I got a Yorkshire title fight, so I was buzzing for that one. And then the Yorkshire title fight fell through as well, and then got a good opportunity to get a good sponsor. A mate of Dave's offered to sponsor me, so Dave just said, "Listen, we'll take the risk, we'll take the sponsorship, and we'll turn pro." And as he's done, moved me really steady and pick up the experience through the pros. So yeah, that's how it all come about really.
It's a really interesting way. I think probably, you could, I don't know, probably, I shouldn't say probably, you can answer this. Do you think that because of his own journey, the highs and lows that he's experienced, it's meant that he can teach you in a way that maybe somebody who hadn't maybe had a different journey in the boxing industry, they would teach you differently. Do you know what I mean? Do you think that he's been so cautious with you because of his own experiences?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think 'cause obviously I think Dave's managed himself majority of his career, and I think he's made mistakes in his career that have taught him a lot. And then when he's come to managing other fighters, he knows not to make them same mistakes again. So I think having Dave manage me, obviously he's done it all himself. It's massively helpful because yeah, like I say, he knows what to and what not to do now as he's been there and done it himself.
Yeah, no, it's a great situation to be in, and obviously a great learning through the experience of others is a great space to be in to learn as well. What kind of things like do you want for you for the next few years? Like, what are you aiming towards?
Just just sort of keep improving now. I think titles are only around the corner now. I think I had my first 8 rounder. I think another couple 8 rounders this year, maybe a 10 rounder, and then start pushing on then and creeping up the British rankings slowly. I think next couple of years, hopefully, a British title fight could be around the corner. So that when I started, if you'd have told me that I'd have won a British title, I'd have probably laughed in your face and said absolutely not. But I think the British title for me is the ultimate goal, and if I was to win that, then amazing. And then if I did win it, we keep pushing on then, and then what next? But for me, in the time being, I just want to keep improving, keep getting better, and look at that British title as a goal, really.
So you've been going at this steady state, like you've had a really good trajectory that's been like focus, whatever. Now in your head, obviously you're still thinking of the plan of being like steady state, just like da da da. So let's say something comes around in a few months' time. There's something happens, like kind of like a Josh Padley situation where, there's a dropout and someone says, actually, we want you. Have you factored that in mentally that something could happen that way, where suddenly the opportunity could come along really fast that could skyrocket or speed up your trajectory?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I feel mentally and physically ready for that now. I think if it was to happen 6 months to a year ago, I don't think I'd have been ready for it, either mentally or physically. But now I feel at the right point in my career. I feel like I've got the experience now. I feel like I'm mature enough as a fighter now. And if something like that was to pop up, I think I'd be more than ready for it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes we can become limited to our own idea of how fast or how slow something should happen, or like the rules that we've sort of like formulated in our head where we're like, yeah, but you do this and then you do this and then that happens. And then sometimes life just goes, what about we skip those steps and we just throw this in here? And I find that an interesting thought pattern because we can get very fixated on how we think things are going to play out, and then they can just, um, well, go left field, really. Um,
Yeah, and I guess it can throw you off as well if you're so used to staying at that one pace. It can throw you off. But no, I've definitely thought, like you say with Josh. I know Josh. He's a local lad to me, so that just shows that it can happen to absolutely anybody. Like Josh has gone from boxing on the small hall to the biggest stage of them all, and now he's absolutely flying with a contract with Matchroom, and yeah, he's got the world at his feet now. So it just shows that if you keep at it, keep working hard, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, I met Josh a couple of years ago. We were training together out in Marbella. I went out to do a boxing camp out there, and he was doing the camp as well. And he was just always ready. Like he was just mentally and physically ready. He would never let his weight fluctuate. He was like the fittest one out of us in the group. I mean, they were all pros apart from me, and that was a very humbling experience. But you know, he was just, and I remembered that from then. So when he got the call up for Chamberlain, then when he got the call up for Shakur, I was like, oh, that just makes total sense because he was just, he was always ready for that phone call. He just walks around ready for that phone call, and I found his story quite a good example for humanity of just like if you prep beforehand, not when it comes, you can set yourself up for a win, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the cliche saying it prepare, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So yeah, like you say, Josh has been doing it consistently for years, and maybe not got the chance for so long. He could have easily got disheartened and thought, why stay on it all the time? I can have a bit of time off, but he stayed on it for consistently for years, and eventually it's ended up paying off for him.
Yeah, and I think that's a lesson for everyone. What do you think
Yeah.
your biggest learning so far has been? Like whether that's a difficult moment or just a particular training session or a particular event, like what do you think's taught you the most?
Um, I think I take a lot from my last fight. Obviously, my first big step up, first 8 rounds, first say live opponent. I think I'll take a lot from that with the experience, being able to cope under pressure, stand in the pocket, catching punches and firing back. Um, and I think I take a lot of confidence and learn a lot about myself in that as well because boxing is a massive confidence sport. And yeah, I think that fight gave me so much confidence going forward now. And yeah, I think another thing, just I know it's a tough one, but the sparring all over the country. That's all we've done. They've just had me around the country sparring everybody. I think that's probably the most important thing that's happened to me with the training and the best experiences I've had because I don't think if it wasn't for the sparring, I wouldn't have improved at such a high rate. So that's probably the biggest learning I've had. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a really vital part of the story, especially I've noticed you know, they can get real stagnancy even at like, you know, amateur level or whatever, grassroots sort of side of things, like because they're only if they only spar each other in the same gym, like there's no development because you actually learn your stablemates really quickly, and then you can just kind of dance around those patterns of behavior that you understand. So actually going to different gyms and going in different spaces and sparring different partners, I'm sure teaches you vital lessons about yourself and how well you can adapt. Um, did you find that that was it, like just sort of learning to adapt in those different environments and different experiences?
yeah, and I think when you're sparring, when you've got in gym sparring as well, you're sparring your teammates. You have tendencies to maybe take it a bit lighter with them, and like you say, you work each other out after a couple of spars, so you're not you know what to expect with the sparring, you know what's coming. Whereas, yeah, when you're traveling around having fresh spars all the time, going into new gyms, it's a new environment for you. It's a bit nervy. It's almost like a fight. You're going in there. They don't want you coming to their gym, getting one over on them, and you don't want them getting one over on you. So it's the second best thing to a fight, really. And yeah, since the beginning days, I was traveling up and down the country all over, just sparring absolutely anyone really.
I suppose it's good for the boxing IQ as well, isn't it? Because you're always thinking.
Yeah, it's everything's always new. It's always a new style. So you're not getting used to somebody. Everything's always brand new, which is like it is when you're having a fight. You don't get a couple spars with your opponent to try and work out what they're about and then pick it up from there. When you're fighting, everything's brand new. You got to think on the spot with them and adapt on the spot, and that's what it's like when you're sparring people for the first time.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting take on it because actually, I don't think people probably do that enough to have those experiences and travel around and do it. Um, what would you say your toughest moment so far has been? And it doesn't have to be in boxing, it can be
Um,
like in your life experience.
toughest in boxing or just life in general?
Either.
Did you say sorry?
Either, just something
Um,
that you've learnt from.
um, I'm not sure really. Obviously, in boxing, I think it's been pretty smooth sailing so far, so I can't really think of one with boxing. Yeah, it's pretty much gone to plan. Obviously, the training is bloody hard and it can get tough, but that's I just think of the end goal and it gets you through it. Um, and yeah, they say the same with life. Really, I'm quite steady going. I don't really take things to heart much. I'm quite easy going. All I do is train and be at home and work. That's about it. So I'm not up to much, and so there's not much to sort of cause me stress. I guess I'm either in the gym or at home.
Have you always been quite laid back, like quite chilled?
Yeah, yeah. I've always been pretty laid back. Obviously, boxing has made me even more laid back because before I'd be going out and doing whatever. Obviously, when you turn 18, when I was 17, 18, 19, going out all the time and doing whatever. But with boxing, it sort of gave me that discipline and that dedication to. I've just always got it at the back of my mind. Whatever I do, I always think about I'm training Monday or I'm training tomorrow. I need to be on it. So I'd always have it in the back of my mind. It'll always make me make better decisions. Yeah.
I think it's a discipline that more people should have. Even, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to go pro or whatever. But I also think that in terms of an outlet, like boxing is such an amazing physical outlet for like even somebody like you, if you're like already chilled and then you've become more chilled, like for somebody who's not chilled and then they can have boxing as an outlet and it can just and I use this, one of the reasons I started this platform and this podcast is because I want to talk, I want people to share their stories of being what it's like for boxing and why boxing and why it's great because I think more people should do it. People that maybe have a misconception of what the sport is or are afraid of, especially women, like stepping into a boxing gym for the first time. I mean, I'm still, especially down here in Devon, I'm still pretty much the only girl in most of the gyms that I train at, and I want more for the sport for more women, and it's really interesting to hear the impacts that it has on all of you and why it's so beneficial.
Yeah, I say to people all the time, the nicest people that I've met in my life have been in boxing gyms. Some of the nicest people, whether it's fighters or coaches. Um, not most people, like I said, we've been around all the country sparring, we've been up and down the country, and I can count on one hand if anybody that I've met that's been a bit of a dick. Most people have been like really nice people, and I say it to everybody. I think like you say, the discipline in the sport and stuff. I think it teaches people a lot, and there's not much ego in boxing. I don't think either. I think people are quite humble within the boxing circle because I mean it's a humbling thing getting punched in the face, and not many people have experienced it. So when you do it for a living, you get punched in the face for a living. I guess it is quite a humbling thing. So yeah, some of the nicest people I've met have been in boxing gyms.
I agree. I think boxing gyms are nicer than traditional gyms, and I mean, I can't remember if I was saying this to somebody the other day, but I remember when I first started boxing, I was 18 and I turned out I was really had like a natural flair for it. And so they wanted to train me up for the women's amateur championship straight away. And I was like, I'm really good at boxing. I'm so good at boxing. And they want me to fight. And then you realize the more you train, you realize actually you're not that good and you have a lot of work to do. And I think I'm now 18 years later, probably the best at boxing I've ever been and the fittest I've ever been, the strongest I've ever been, and I still don't think I know anything. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it as a sport is that it doesn't end. Like there's no end goal with boxing. There's no finished result of learning. And that's, I think, the thing that keeps me very grounded all the time because I'm like, I can think I could be, my head could be in the clouds. And then like you say, I walk into sparring and a 15-year-old kid beats the shit out of me. And I'm like, yeah, fair. Like I've got work to do.
It is. It's such a humbling experience. Like you say, you could have the best spar of your life against, like hypothetically speaking, a world champion, and then you go and spar a 15-year-old amateur the week after, and you can get your head pinged off by a 15-year-old amateur. Like going from one end of the scale to the other, it's such a humbling sport, and I know, like you say, I feel like even Floyd Mayweather said, you never stop learning in boxing. There's always something that you can keep picking up and keep tweaking and keep improving. There's always something that's gonna improve your game and make you a better fighter.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about it. Once I got over my own ego and realized that I needed to humble myself and be like, you're not actually that good, Rachel. You've got work to do. I've got some quick fire questions for you. Um,
Cool.
okay. The first punch you ever threw, do you remember it?
No, but it probably would have been at my little brother.
Ah, boys, what fun. Dream opponent from any era.
Do a quick fire in it, but let's Roberto Duran.
Okay, have you got a walkout song that you'd never admit that you'd
Um,
actually want to use? So one that's not actually one that you would use,
oh,
but
that I'd never admit.
that you'd
Okay.
never admit. Yeah.
Um, I mean, the only one that pops into my head that I can think of, but I don't mind admitting it, is I can't, what's the name of the song though? The fella from Donny. Uh, Show me the way to Amarillo.
Yeah.
Is it Tony? Is it Tony Christie? Yeah, I've always thought about walking out to that one because obviously being from Doncaster myself, and he's from Doncaster. I think we're from the same village actually, so
Oh,
I've always
really?
thought that wouldn't be a bad song to walk out to. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think there's any other song that I'd think of walking out to now.
I get you thinking now. I think you should do that one. I think that'd be great. Everyone would be singing along. It would be cracking. Um,
That's what I mean. It's a catchy song, isn't it?
yeah,
It is a good
it
song.
is. Everyone knows it. I think you should. I think you should do it.
Exactly.
You should have done it at the home show.
I know, but I've been walking out to Trouble, and I've not done it for a while. And I thought now that I'm back on a big show, I thought I'd bring Trouble back.
Fair enough.
But it was I did think about the Amarillo song. I won't lie to you. I did think about it. It might make an appearance in the future.
Yeah, good. I'll be disappointed if it doesn't. What's harder, making weight or taking a body shot?
Uh, Making weight, body sparring. Dave has made me bulletproof to body shots.
I'd say so. Jesus H. I
Touch touch wood, by the way. I don't want that to come back to
yeah.
haunt me.
I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna clip that, and then we'll bring it back later. Yeah, no, I can imagine. I once so at my gym we always do birthday beats and everybody gets to punch you in the stomach on your birthday. And so most of the boys were quite nice to me because I'm like 5'5" and 60 kg and they're all like 6 foot and massive. But then one of the lads, he's 6'6" and 120 kilos. So his lightest punch was just like doom and like went straight through me. And I was like, wow, you didn't even try, and I'm now doubled over. Um, okay,
Yeah, they're
good.
not
Yeah,
they're not they're not pleasant.
no. And I bet he doesn't go easy on you either.
No, they don't tickle at all. Yeah.
Go to cheat meal after a fight.
It was McDonald's, but that was only because it was the only thing open at that time of night.
Fair.
If I had to pick, it'd be Domino's. My last two fights have been a Domino's. I do like a pizza.
Nice. What do you have in your pizza?
Um, the chicken feast, I think it's called. The chicken, mushroom, and sweet corn with the chicken strips on the side, big tub of dip,
Nice. Did you go for like a large one as
couple
well?
cookies. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, got to be large.
Uh,
For a slim person, I can eat quite a lot of food. Um, must be the amount of training or something because
yeah.
the calories I consume is ridiculous. Really,
Yeah, it's probably a metabolism. How old are you?
25.
Ah, you got time. It will slow down. Your metabolism will slow down.
That's that's upsetting. That's when I go like this.
Yeah, but at least if you've probably got a good 5 years before that happens, so you got time. So just enjoy all the dominoes. Go wild.
I should hopefully, yeah,
Yeah.
should hopefully be done with it by then. Enjoy
Um,
retirement.
also, I always think like look at your genetic bloodline
Yeah,
to see how you're like your dad, granddad, uncles, like they all carry weight, and you'll probably be fine. And on the other side as well, that then you should be fine.
yeah,
One,
I'll be fine.
yeah, you'll be fine. You're sorted. One word to describe your fighting style.
Um, basic boxer, I'd say.
That sounds like you're
As
downplaying.
as long as as much as as much as it might sound like I'm downplaying myself, I think I just do. I feel like I do the basics right, but just do them to a good standard.
I mean,
I don't
that's
do
fair.
nothing flash. I don't do nothing flashy. Um, yeah, I don't do nothing flashy. I just do the basic things, but I do the basics right and just fast and at a decent level.
Do you know what
I'd say.
though? That is something that because I coach boxing as well, and I always say to people like, especially in their early days, I'm just like, just get the basics right. You can win fights with the basics. You don't have to know all the things. So I suppose it's not a bad thing. That's a good advert for the sport to be like, you can actually do really
Yeah,
well with the
I
basics.
think if you do the basics to a good level and add speed and power, then you'd be a really good fighter.
Yeah, okay. That's we won't think that you're downplaying then. If you weren't a boxer, what would you be?
Um, an healthcare assistant at a psychiatric hospital, probably,
No
because that's what I did
way.
before boxing. So that's what I did before boxing. So I'd probably still be in that job now. And I would say I'd be at uni studying to be a nurse, but I probably won't because I can't stand classrooms and sitting doing work and stuff like that. So I would probably just settled for being a healthcare assistant. But I would have done some form of activity though. I'm starting to quite enjoy triathlon training, so I think maybe I would have over at some point got into triathlon, something like that. I feel like that might have been my go-to after, or athletics, like running, something like that.
Healthcare assistant in a psychiatric hospital. That's so interesting. How did that come about?
Yeah, so my missus' dad, he's a hospital life support teacher, so he teaches hospital life support, and
Wow.
where I work is one of the places where he teaches it. So he said there were jobs going, got me an interview there, and ended up getting through. So I was there for a year or so before I started before I turned pro. Sorry, so I still work there 1 day a week now. Um, they look after me. To be fair, it's a good job to have on the side with boxing because they're long days, but the hours don't interfere with me training.
So what kind of stuff do you do as like a healthcare assistant? Like, I'm just really, I've
Just work.
never heard of that before.
Yeah, so I work on the wards mainly. It's like you work on the wards. You're like you're just there for them. If they need anything, you're there for them. You serve them meals. You help them with daily activities. Really.
That's really interesting. So do you think you're quite a sensitive soul?
Um, I'd say so. Yeah, I'm a nice person, but at the same time, like I've not got much. I don't know. I'm not really an emotional person, but I do like to help people out at the same time. Yeah,
So would you say you're not like a
like
massively emotional person, but you can hold space for others, like you can hold their emotions and you can kind of care for others because it doesn't tend to impact you, if that makes sense. Like you don't
yeah.
absorb.
Yes, I'd probably say I put other people's emotions first before mine. If if that makes yeah,
Oh,
if
it's
that
really,
makes sense, yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's really interesting. I've just found a lot of boxers are very like very gentle souls or very sensitive souls or very just like kind people. And I don't know if that's like everybody like it's something that everyone sort of was innately born with, or if it's just the fact that they have this space and this sport where they can channel a lot of their own needs, like emotional needs, so they're able to just be gentler, softer, more sensitive, calmer with others because they've got such a great outlet for, especially in men. I find it really interesting.
Yeah,
Mm, very interesting. Okay.
yeah. No, I've sort of always been the same, really. Yeah, but no, I enjoyed. To be fair, I enjoyed the job. It is a good job, and yeah, like I say, I'm there one day a week, and after boxing, I'll probably put my hours back up there. To be honest, so no, it's all right, and they have my back and they look out for me. So no, I enjoy it.
Weirdest superstition you've ever heard in the gym?
Can't say I've ever heard any. Obviously training with Dave and the lads, they're not really big on superstitions. And I've never, it's not something I've ever really spoke about outside of our circle. So I don't know if I can answer that one. I've not really heard any.
Do you have any superstitions or like things that you do before a fight?
I have, so I see a chiropractor through camp, and they come in. He comes to my house before the fight and adjusts me, and then I've got like a warm up routine. Whether it's superstitious or not, I'm not really sure. I don't know if it didn't happen, would it throw me off? Maybe I'm not too sure, but I wouldn't say I'm really a superstitious person because I like to not let myself get to that point because then I don't want to feel like I'm dependent on something for me to perform a certain way. So I like to just sort of just freestyle it sometimes and keep myself guessing.
No, I think that's a good idea because I remember speaking to somebody about it and it being like it can actually then throw if you become reliant on this one thing, what happens if that thing can't happen that day? And then you think that your whole performance is based on that one thing. So yeah, I think it's sensible not to have superstitions. Um, who hits the hardest you've ever sparred with?
Um, One that comes to mind straight away would be Lewis Ritson. I've sparred Lewis Ritson a fair few times over the last couple of years, and yeah, he punches pretty hard. He hit moving uppercut once, and I couldn't. I think I lost my vision for about 5 seconds. Not that not that you would have known, but I was just there and like it felt like I had my eyes shut. It was just black, and I was like, "What the hell is happening?" But then it soon come back, and I was like, "Don't do that again." Yeah, that weren't too pleasant. But Sha Shaquille Thompson as well, another big puncher that I've sparred. That was early days when I first started training with Dave. I think it was more of a test. He just chucked me at ring with Shaq and just say survive and get through it. And obviously, I don't know if you've seen Shaq or not, but he's an absolute unit. He's massive. So and he can really dig. So yeah, that were yeah, just getting there survive. So yeah, that taught me a lot as well.
Yeah, I can imagine it did. Jesus. Favorite boxing movie of all time?
Gotta be Rocky on it. Rocky. I like the one when he fights Drago when he's out training in snow. I like that one.
Was that the second one?
I think Rocky Four. That is. I think it might be Rocky Four.
They all blend. I can't. They all blend in my mind. Yeah, good one. Biggest pet peeve in the ring.
In the ring. I don't know. That's an hard one. Biggest pet peeve in the ring. Low blows, maybe. Or
Mm.
back of the head shots. I had a couple back of the head shots the last fight, and they're a bit annoying. But in the moment, I never really gave it much thought. The day after, the back of my head was killing.
Mm.
So like soft and tender. But
Yeah.
yeah, if I had to say one, I'd probably say either low blows or back of the head shots.
Yeah, not nice. If you could train with one legend, dead or alive, who would it be?
Uh, Marvin Hagler.
Nice. Why?
I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, Marvin Hagler training, and he trained like an absolute animal. So I'd love to go back and experience one of them training sessions with someone with a legend like Marvin Hagler. That'd be great.
Yeah, that sounds good. Um, what's your playlist before a fight? Oh no, I lie. Yeah, sorry. What's your playlist before a fight? What do you listen to?
Um, I personally haven't got one. I just took Dave the phone and say, put whatever you want on, and then that could be a mix of anything. Whatever Dave's feeling that day is what we're getting. But I think last fight it was a lot of country. We get a lot of country music, which I'm a fan of, to be fair. So country stuff like that, R&B maybe. I don't mind a bit of house music myself. Listen to a bit of house music and stuff like that. So yeah, anything from country to R&B, house stuff like that. Yeah.
Sick. What's the most painful shot you've ever taken?
Uh, that's another one that hard to answer really because there's not one that stands out where I've been badly in pain. I'd probably say a few years back before I'd met Dave, when I was at my old amateur gym, I was sparring a fella, and he'd hit me with his shoulder, and I think it. I don't actually know this, but I think it broke my nose because my nose went all swollen and funny shaped, and both my eyes were black. Uh, and that was pretty painful. Yeah. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably say that.
Yeah, I'd say that sounds awful. Um, what is one thing that fans would be surprised to know about you, apart from the fact that you're a healthcare assistant at a psychiatric hospital? Because I thought that was interesting.
Uh, I don't know. I'm quite a vanilla guy, really. I literally, like I said earlier, I just literally train and chill. That's all I do. My personality is training. So
Yeah, but I don't know. You could
uh,
like watch Mean Girls every Sunday or something. Like that would be an interesting fact to know. I don't know. Like
I,
there's got to be something.
I'll tell you what, an interesting fact: the amount of food I can eat. I can eat, like I said earlier, I can eat a stupid amount of food. Like I might get into competitive eating after boxing because I think I'd be pretty good at food challenges stuff like that. Because the amount of food I can put away is ridiculous.
You should do a day in the life of and show people how much you eat. Not obviously in camp, but like, like a normal day.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, it's not a bad shout to be fair because people look at me and see I'm always in shape and that, and they'll assume that I'm always dieting. Don't eat crap. Don't do this. Don't do that. But God, the amount of food that I can eat sometimes, it's like you just black out and you just 10 minutes goes and you wake up and you're like, where's all this food? Has that just happened?
Brilliant. Yeah, I'd like to see a day in the life of. I think you should record that. See what you can actually put away. Because in my head, I'm like, it can't be as much as he thinks it is.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, like because I'm only slim and that I'm in shape and stuff. People think he's not a big eater, but we're on about me and Cameron Vaughn were on about it today. We're gonna might do some food challenges on Dave's YouTube channel. So we'll have to have like an eating competition or something on there,
Oh yeah,
and I
do
can
it.
prove
How much you could eat.
I can back my word up.
And is it just like you just don't get full? Like you can just keep eating?
Yeah, I don't get full, but then I eat myself to feeling sick.
You kind of
I
miss the
remember
middle stage.
after one of my fights. Yeah, I like feeling full. I don't know what it is. Yeah, so I went for an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet once after one of my fights with lads, and like it was just ridiculous. I took it way too far to a point where we walked down. When I was walking back home, I couldn't stand up straight. I was like, I had to walk home like hunched over because I just couldn't. My belly was that full, I couldn't stand up straight. And my brother did something to make me laugh, and laughing made me sick in my mouth. Like I don't know, like that's how much I just ate myself into a horrible state. My
Oh
body
my
just yeah
gosh,
felt
that's
horrendous.
that's so funny, especially because that food is just like, yeah, that's very amusing. Um, Oh no, we've said that you don't have like a pre-fight ritual. Um, who's the funniest person in your gym or in your stable or people that you know or train with?
Got to say Dave, Anna. Dave, he's a character like old Dave. He is a funny guy. Another one as well. Sammy Ahmed is a funny guy as well over in Manchester at Jamie Moore's gym. Sammy Ahmed's a funny guy. There's a lot of good characters to be fair, but no, if I had to pick one, yeah, Dave comes out with some pearls.
I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that you picked him. Um, have you ever been starstruck by someone when you're like someone who's either watching ringside or when you're at an event or whatever?
Um, Not really, no, but like at the time, it's hard to notice. To be honest, I never really, when I'm in the ring, I've never really looked around and seen who's about. But my last fight, watching it back, I noticed Kell Brook was sat ringside watching, and I'm quite a fan of Kell Brook. To be honest, watched a lot of Kell Brook. So that was pretty cool to sort of see that Kell Brook sat ringside watching me. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Um, would you rather win by a brutal knockout or a masterclass decision?
Masterclass decision, I'd have to go for.
Yeah, that makes sense with the doing all the basics really well. Um,
Yeah, I'd like. I think I'd like. Maybe a 12th round stoppage after 12 rounds of a masterclass performance. That'd be the perfect ideal scenario.
just and to wrap it up with a bow. Um,
Yeah,
f-
too right.
favorite boxer of all time?
Mike McCallum,
Nice. Why?
which is basically like how I said, with just doing the basics perfectly. Mike McCallum's a great example of that. He didn't
Nice.
do nothing flashy or special. He's just a stand up boxer who just did the basics perfectly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I like to watch him because he's one you can copy. He's
Yeah.
not like Prince Nazim or Roy Jones Jr. where their styles are maybe one in a million. Someone like Mike McCallum, he's got a very basic stand-up boxing style where you can go to the gym and you can practice the things that Mike McCallum does.
Yeah, that's a really gives sort of like inspiration and hope to your own skills and ability. It just shows like boxing is one of those sports that you don't have to have like a natural ability in the very beginning, but you if you study and you train hard, you can do great things through perseverance and discipline and hard work. It's a real um, anybody's sport in that sense. You really can do great things with it as long as you double down and really work hard.
Yeah.
Um, what's the strangest advice you've been given by a coach or
I don't know really. I'm not too sure. I'm going to be crap with this one. I can't. I'm not sure. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There's a bit of strange advice I've been given.
I mean, Dave Allen is your coach, so I mean, it could be anything.
You know what though? As mad as Dave might be, like when it comes to boxing, he's got like he just switches his serious head on and everything. Like I say it all the time. Like we've got such a good relationship and good friendship. But as soon as we're training, we'll be having a laugh. But as soon as that bell goes and it's time to get serious, we both flick that switch and we both get serious heads on then. And then we're back to being friends once training's done. But while we're training we coach and fighter.
I think that's really a very important and healthy dynamic because I think it could be easy to blur the lines. And I think that if the per if that sort of decision hasn't been sort of like subconsciously made, that when that switch goes off, you will be paying attention to what he says and you have to honor and listen. Because I think that in friendship, sometimes you can have clashes where people are suddenly like, I don't have to listen to you. And it can almost be like, I've even had it with people that I coach who they're just having a bad day. So they've just decided that they're gonna like be really rude to me or decide that they don't want to do what I've told them to do. And it's a very frustrating position to be in. Thankfully, I've just know how to handle it, but it can be very frustrating. So I think it's great that you two have this great friendship and then that ability to switch in because also you both want the same outcome, right? You both want you to win and do well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Dave's got my best interests at heart, so I know that whether he's being harsh or not, it's coming from a good place. Don't get me wrong. Like some sessions are really tough, and when I'm tired and I'm on the bag and he's shouting at me, it can be something like you say. Sometimes when you're tired, you just think, oh, when you've got someone shouting at you, telling you to do something, it can be a bit frustrating sometimes. But I know it's coming from a good place, so I don't let that affect me. And yeah, he's only pushing me to get the best out of me. And like I said, once that final bell goes, once I walk out that door, I leave that in the gym, and then we're back to being mates as soon as we get on the other side of them doors.
Yeah, I think it's understanding it's not personal criticism. It's just part of the journey. I think, I I put a story about this the other day because it did make me laugh, but I trained with a coach I haven't trained with for a while and he has the coach I train with a kind of an array of coaches and they all have different ways of pulling out the best in me, and this one particularly just basically tells me that I'm not doing enough. And he'll shout at me and be like, I hadn't seen him for a while. And he was like, Why are you so unfit, Rachel? And I was like, I was devastated. I was like, I thought I was really fit at the moment. But I didn't, all it did was kind of just push me to keep pushing. And I think, sometimes you've just got to say things to pull out certain things. Or you just got to, it just happens. And it's not personal. It's just, I know you're better than this, or I know that you might be having a bad day, but you need to give more. And I'm just going to find the right language in this moment to make you give more because in the fight, you're going to need to give more. And I think it's probably people misunderstand because boxing, even if they don't want to fight, they've got to push hard. You've got to work like a boxer. You've got to train like a boxer. You can't come in and train like a like a golfer. I mean, not to disrespect golfers, but obviously it's not, it's
Yeah,
a different kind of energy level. And I think a lot of
yeah,
people like to be insulted. They like to take things offense to things. And I think boxing is a reminder that it's not about offense. It's about, and obviously there are going to be some people who take this far too far. I'm not saying it's perfect, but when you find that language, it's a good lesson for life. I think that sometimes it's not about
it,
disrespect.
yeah. No, definitely, and I think it all depends on what kind of person you are as well. Because obviously there'll be some people out there that you can't get away with speaking to like that because they will just tell you to piss off and leave the gym. I think there is definitely people like that, but I think if you know how to take, say, constructive criticism and turn that into fuel to only get better and improve that aspect, then no, I think it's a good trait to have.
I think also it's built on trust, right? You trust him to do right by you regardless. So what he says to you, you don't see that as a negative or a criticism that's unnecessary because he's done right by you for all this time to create this thing that you're building together. So why wouldn't you take on board what he has to say, right?
Yeah, exactly, and also because I know he's got such a good boxing brain and such a good boxing IQ, he's well experienced in the sport. He knows what he's watching, and I know how good of a coach he is. When he says something, I listen to it because I know that what he's telling me is right. So whether it's a positive or a negative thing, I listen to it and take it on board and go from there.
Yeah, I think it's good advice for young boxers everywhere. Um, a fighter in history you would least like to take a punch from? Uh,
George Foreman,
mm, Bet that would be painful.
yeah, yeah, I won't fancy that
And pound for pound, greatest boxer that's around today.
today. Terence Crawford or yeah, Terence Crawford, I'd say yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about him and Canelo? What do you think about that?
I, I think I think it's probably the fight of the century, really, of the decade. Sorry, the fight of the decade. I'd say of this generation, definitely. It's a super fight. It's two of the best of this era fighting each other. It's an interesting fight, though. Obviously, with the size of Canelo, uh, makes a big difference. But I'd have to. I think I'll have to back Crawford in that one.
Even with the size difference in the, I mean, obviously he's going to come up, right? So, but we know what that doesn't necessarily mean anything in these dynamics. It can still hinder you, but
Yeah, I think Crawford quite a big fella himself. I think he comes down from quite a lot to do welterweight. I think he started at 140, didn't he, Crawford? So he's obviously started in the lower divisions as well. But I just feel like you can't back it. Last time I bet against Crawford when he boxed Spence and he absolutely made easy work of that. So I'd just be sure to never bet against Crawford again. But I think he's just so smart and he can adapt to absolutely anything. Canelo's last few fights, he's looked like he's slowing down a little bit. His feet look a bit slower. Um, I think he's catching up to Canelo a little bit now. And Crawford, he he's just he's so sharp and so smart. I just think whatever Canelo comes with, Crawford can adapt to and yeah, just get the job done.
Usyk Dubois, who's your money on?
I want to say Dubois. I think another one, and again, I think. obviously Usyk's only he's not getting any younger, Usyk, and I think the bar over the last few years, the improvements he's had, the experience he's got from his last few fights has been unbelievable. I think the Dubois that boxed Usyk the first time compared to the Dubois that's going to box him the second time now, it's a completely different fighter. His confidence will be through the roof now after his last the run he's been on.
Yeah, there is that. I can't ever bring myself to bet against Usyk, unfortunately, but I do see there is potential.
Again, yeah,
It's hard because he's just Usyk.
and Usyk like Crawford he's just so smart. His boxing brain's unbelievable. He can adapt to anything. So he's another one quite similar to Crawford, really.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year for boxing. Have we got any future plans for you? Do you know what's happening next for you yet?
Um, Hopefully, maybe a title fight before the end of the year. That'd be good. Just waiting to hear about that. But in the meantime, I just like to keep busy. Really, hopefully get another 8 rounder in. Just keep busy, keep active, and just keep fighting and getting better, keeping experience going. I'm in the gym all the time, so yeah, just looking forward to getting back in there really, and then push on next year. Start looking at titles.
Amazing. Joe, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really lovely to chat to you and get to know you and I think it's, it's going to be really exciting to see what you do next. So, thank you for your time. It's the only thing that we don't get back, so I really appreciate you sharing yours with me.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
Take care and I'll see you soon, okay?
Cheers. You too. Ta-ra.